So, James, we're talking about motivation.
hmm
And what did I ask you?
I think you asked me like how would you conduct moving forward in like grief and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, in spite of grief, like you and I both had loss, severe loss. So,
Mhm.
how do we move forward in spite of that loss so we don't stay in one spot and don't move?
Well, yeah. So just a like disclaimer though, I'm no counselor or anything like that, just for the video's sake.
Oh,
I'm just a guy who knows stuff. I might devalue myself, although like I'm a guy who knows stuff and yeah. Anyways,
wait a minute. Wait a
yeah.
Well, you're 6'5", right?
Yeah.
You don't think I'm going
Or
to listen to you?
six, 7, 6, 8, somewhere around there.
Oh, go away. I haven't even met you in person and you're just, oh, brother. How am I
Well,
gonna,
that'll happen soon.
I don't know. Do I have to get a ladder to reach up and give you the materials?
No, you can
Wow.
just like hug my one leg. That's like
Ah, well, James, you're saying something here. You're
Mhm.
just a what? You said you're not a counselor. If you've gone through something and struggled through it and made a success, you're a counselor of that because you tell from your own experience, all right? That's
Yeah.
what people learn from.
Mhm.
Ordinary people learn from ordinary people. They not
Yeah.
necessarily have access to a counselor. The
Sure.
people that went before us in the past generation and the generation before that particularly, they did not have counselors,
hmm
but
That's
they
true.
certainly learned. And it's military people really that do a lot of the teaching because they were in the war, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I learned how to organize and work from the age of 9, you know,
Yeah.
and I was formally working by age 15,
hmm
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
don't
what?
I'm not bringing a ladder with me. I want to tell you right now, not doing it.
Yeah. So what we were talking about before, I'd say moving through grief because I know what it's like to have immense grief and anger because of my dad passing.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say that, like what I said before you recorded, I said that legitimately you need to just make a decision. That's the only way to move. Well, it's not the only way to move, although um, it's the easiest way to move, I think, in immense grief. Um, and and honestly, being super intentional, just because we as as human beings, actually especially nowadays, we are legitimately like built or our brains are being shaped into like doing things on impulse all the time. Like feeling like doing something else, doing being emotional, like all of these different things. A lot of people just shove their emotions out of the picture and just think all the time. And I mean, the going through grief is different for like different people. For me, it was about, making a decision and having somebody that was from God to be like, so Pastor Ron, he basically was like, I have this counselor. I can't deal with these. I can't help you with these questions because like it's just not his field. So then he brought me to my counselor, and then I got to meet him, and he helps regulate how I feel and is teaching me that I have the t tools inside of me to develop my own self. And
Mhm, mhm. I
yeah.
think, is it called neuroplasticity, James? Did he make a reference to that word?
Yes, we've talked about it before. Um, there's a theory called neurodivergence, and I kind of know a little bit about it. And I
Don't
think
you
it's,
have to have a degree to talk about such a thing like that?
no, I don't, well,
No, well, so
in general,
don't
no.
tell me that you can't and all those things when you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love learning about like the body and how it works and like how like and how we psychologically function as well. So,
Neurodiversity, what are you saying?
from what I remember, this is very vague. I literally listened to like one video out of this. From what I remember, it's about being the oh, what is it? Being diverse in how we um, deal with our trauma. How like um, we aren't just stuck being where we are. You know, like the Western philosophy. One of the Western philosophies is that um, like I'm talking like cowboy era where it's like you do something bad and you can never change. Through science, that is like absolutely
What
not true.
can never change? That your reputation or the person?
Our brains, really, our brains, how we involve ourselves with things like getting over addictive behaviors and all those types of things.
You're saying though, if somebody does something like what that they what? You if they do something like a cowboy does something, you said or
So
something.
like there's like like a Western philosophy.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like from cowboy era, I think,
oh, okay.
around there. Yeah. And yeah, and then that's like the theory because they didn't have like lots of science back, like they didn't have a lot of neuroscience and stuff back then.
Oh, okay. So
So
their era, the cowboy era.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And and so then they basically said that in science, neuroscience today basically says that that's just absolutely not true. There's a theory I think that says that people who've gone through trauma and are healing from it are neurodivergent because their bodies had to adapt to the situation to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
had to
it's
adapt. Yeah.
yeah, they had to adapt.
And so they learned survival.
Yeah.
Okay, go on from there.
Well, they learned survival and how to basically process, well, not even process, to survive off of the tools that they had and the situations that they were in, or like
Hmm.
abusive relationship, narcissistic relationships.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
theory is that yeah, people are neurodivergent because of um,
Of what they've
their
adapted to,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So they've got a class of neural networks that's different than someone who hasn't done that kind of adaptation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that like so in really simple left brain term, they were put under the fire. And they basically
Yeah.
had to survive in this house that was burning.
Ha! Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
House burning. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they had to figure out how to insulate themselves. They had to figure out how to get out of the house. They had to figure out
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yeah. Or they ran away.
true.
I have friends that were, I have more than one friend who was sexually abused and ran away. Women that ran away from home. One of them was 11,
Hmm.
another one 14. They just had to leave home, you know?
That's
It's the only way they could handle it.
yeah. When I was in my situation, I thought about running away multiple times. 100%.
Now, you talking about after your father died?
No, before. Like way
Oh,
before. When I didn't even know what was going on, my body was just like, let's run away.
yeah.
Or yeah, my brain would pop that in my head and I'd
Was this something your dad was doing, James?
it was more or less like all everything. Like my dad being crazy, people doing bad things, or people just like coping because, you know, they didn't know what they were going through. And like through all of that, my brain was like, well, what if I ran away? Because of the fear that I felt from what dad gave me. So, yeah.
Fear that you felt because of what your dad gave you. You
Mhm.
mean the things that he was doing or the things he was teaching you?
More or less like manipulating me and
Oh, yeah,
causing me to um build fear in myself
yeah,
um
yeah,
in order to like survive. And one time I almost did run away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Building fear is an interesting thing to say, you know. It's like then being with him and growing up under him was a building of fear.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the building of fear is like it's a place of where like my body needed to like understand that fear. So I think the fear would be built up. So then I would be able to cope and survive based off of the fear that I felt. Because fear is a reaction to things unseen.
Hmm, hmm. I'm
So
taking notes on this university lecture. I'm on page 3. Um, I guess
Mhm.
I asked you to answer the question because I thought it would help maybe a student or somebody who's teaching students that how they feel about motivation,
Mhm.
because you meet people who aren't very motivated and you meet people who are.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think like my opinion on motivation itself is like it's really depends on the person.
yeah.
Motivation could because of your trauma, and then that trauma is withholding like a drug that is supposed to be sent to your brain, and then that causes you to be demotivated. Um,
So, trauma is like a drug sent to the brain, a chemical reaction, in other words.
it can be because our brains are able to actually, our neurons can actually physiologically connect to actual pain itself. So for example, if a father abuses their son and they looked up to their father, that pain gets connected with those neurons. And so when they have that response or that trigger, that can also send pain to them. Um, it could be pain that's felt emotionally, or it can be actually like physical pain that's coming from your brain.
So you're saying then that the chemical reaction from the abuse that happens,
Mhm,
and even that happened to you,
mhm.
um, it could be triggered again, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, depending on how long the trigger, like depending how long the trauma was there and how much it was reinforced, that also depends on how long you can actually get rid of the trigger in general,
Well, this
or
could
how to cope with it.
this could last your whole life then.
It could. Like grief, from what I understand, can also be like a lifelong journey. And
Yeah.
grief also fits with like the pain too, sometimes.
So from the actions of the other person to traumatize you, then a
Mm-hmm.
grief reaction occurs. There's a few stages to that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it can be like non-bad things either. The triggers can be just non-bad things either.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah. You
can
never
be
know what you're gonna be triggered by, eh?
yeah, sounds, smells.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, yeah. Do you feel that you've gone through all the stages of grief, James?
Um, ooh, I honestly don't think, okay. So I dealt with like multi-dimensional grief. Let's say that, and I'm still working through it. And I
Can
would
you,
say,
what is that? Multidimensional
so
dimensional grief.
grief itself, I learned is like extremely complicated. Like super complicated. And that fosters how we react and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And a multidimensional is just like is like the dimensions of how that grief has affected me, all of the different areas. So like for example, it's not just like the four stages of grief, which I don't remember what they are. Although like um in the midst of all of that, you've got like grief that is like this grief is coming from this person because they're giving me anger. It's coming from this person and this person and this person. And like
Well, it's denial, rage. Let's see, denial is the first stage, and then rage, and
mhm,
then what? The last stage would be your reality. Eh?
mhm.
Is reality.
Yeah.
What is that third stage, James?
Oh, I don't remember.
Denial and rage. Oh, I know. Depression.
Depression.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we have re-entry or
Yeah.
reality, facing reality. Here I am. Here's what is, and I'm facing it. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Now, it's after that reality stage. Do you think
hmm
that you have reached that stage?
Mm, um,
Re-entry.
well, okay. Like I was saying before, it's like multifaceted. So in some areas, I would say, sure, yeah. In other areas, nah, it's pitch black. In other areas, I'm comfortable to say that I'm I'm working through it and I'm able to sort it out.
Well, what I understand is that we can go through a stage and think we're done with it, and then we go back to it.
See, that's the problem, is that people think that it's like in stages, when in reality, our body makes the decision of what we're able to handle or not.
Hmm.
And all of those like feeling regret, shame, anger, um, betrayal, all of that mixes in together to create different feelings for us,
Mhm.
and different emotions. They all like concoct themselves to create thought processes. And yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're about to do something, well, we're going to do something creative. We're going to continue with writing your book. I'm editing as you're writing, right?
Hmm.
And what else are we going to do? What else did you figure out in this reentry stage? It seems to me that you're there. Like I've known you how
Hmm.
many years now? What?
Like 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah. So I saw you go through like your father's death and
Hmm.
then learning all about the things you didn't know about his
Hmm.
life that he had been doing,
Yeah.
which was very shocking, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's
Yeah.
also there's also like um there's also like
Yeah.
betrayal involved in that because
Yeah.
he died from COVID and he promised that he would be back.
Yeah. 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 I see. See. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one day. I
Hmm.
mean, there's a verse, John 6:44, James.
Hmm.
And basically, it's saying that Jesus died for people, and the Father creates a draw because of that death on the cross.
Hmm.
And then what does he say in conclusion? He will raise him up at the last day.
Hmm.
So there's three things being done for an individual who cares to participate, right? There's a lot
Hmm.
of people that Jesus died for, they'll never admit it or think it was for them, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. It takes something, I mean, for some people to realize that,
Yeah.
apply it to themselves. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I feel like for me and my growth changes, I feel like it's like a super rare thing. For like where I came out of and what I've seen other people go through, it seems just so like so much cleaner like than
Well,
like
why?
having to go through all the stage and just say like I have a niece and her and me are really close.
Hmm.
And her and me totally understand each other. We've been there since we were kids. And she like I just talked to her recently and we were talking about how we are able to like sense good in a very really weird way. Like and when I say weird, I means I don't understand. So like we can sense truth and reality in a very, very, very clear, concise way when other people just legitimately can't, or there's something else that's there that they're ignorant to that causes them not to see it. It
Yeah.
depends. Although like I talked to her and like we both feel that like there's like a burden that's placed on us because we see it and nobody else listens to us because we're young or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And yeah, it's very interesting and a
Oh,
pain,
and what?
and just a pain because it's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
But isn't it always a pain though when you have high intelligence in one of the eight known or recognized intelligences that
Mhm.
you maybe are talking with somebody or relating to somebody who doesn't have your same intelligences. I mean, you and your niece, that you have what we call interpersonal intelligence.
Hmm.
In other words, you understand what's going on between two people.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the level of understanding that someone else may have.
Hmm.
You can easily figure it out. They're just not
Yeah.
getting something or other, or they are getting it, or they're super getters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how I do most of the things that I do. Um, like my addictive behavior and um like the way that I perceive other people. Like one time for Young Life, because I'm a leader at Young Life.
Hmm.
Um, and I basically like we were doing this thing where it was karaoke night. And the kids were so comfortable around us and around their friends that we literally just like did karaoke for like 2.5 hours straight with like whole bunches of kids.
Hmm.
And I was there sitting, not being able to do anything because I was getting emotional overload by seeing everybody's faces, sensing the feelings that were around them, and sensing how they're interacting with one another, the nervous energy, the wacky energy. And I'm just kind of like sitting there being like, oh crap. Like part of me was like, I don't know what's going on. And another part of me was like, well, you should do some karaoke. And the other part of me was like, there's no freaking way that's happening. We are getting bombarded with this emotion. So yeah, yeah, and that's the part that's also overwhelming too, is like you see all of it and you feel all of it, and then
But
you
you don't,
understand it, even though
you,
you might not even see what it truly is because it's their own emotions, it's their own, processes and stuff like that. I'm still a witness to how they're reacting.
oh, okay. So you don't want to participate.
Yes, because of the emotional overload that I'm
So
doing.
is that what happens from trauma? People shut down
Mm,
in
this emotional
their,
overload was different though.
oh,
Um, Trauma is more or less like a reaction that either hits fight, flight, or sit still.
mm,
This was more or less like sit still because I was getting emotionally overloaded by like legitimately a good situation.
oh,
Well, and like a safe, non-safe situation. So it was like is one of those different things. And when I'm in that kind of state, it's like a freeze for me. Although it's not negative, which is different.
it's like a freeze. Hmm.
Yes, legitimately.
How long
I
does
just-
that last?
Not that long. I learned to like work through.
How do you pull out of a freeze?
Oh, well, first for me, since I'm a like so my type of processing works as in like I can get bombarded with I mean like megatons of information. I mean megatons. And my body will be like receiving it all and then leaving it so that I can process it later in the weeks.
Hmm.
So for me, there's just like a process and where we don't, as human beings, our conscious awareness, 40% conscious awareness, um, is like we literally just have to like sit and relax because our brain is doing like when dad first died, that's all I did for like a year is like sit like and just I kind of isolate myself because I didn't know what to do and also because there was I mean like tons of information to process.
Hmm.
So that's like the first part of processing, just letting it sit, letting it come up and come down. And then I learned to regulate the emotions that I'm feeling. Do I put them away? Do I just let them sit there? Do I talk to them? Do I allow them to talk to me? Do I communicate with them? Do I set up like boundaries and walls and all these types of things that help regulate the information that I'm
What did you do?
So there was a long process of working on
When you
creating visual behaviors.
Did you get counseling to do that?
Yes, counseling, that was the main thing that helped me was counseling. And then, well, okay, so the first thing that helped me was God because he put me in the path of Kevin and Ron.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part of that was learning about my brain. Obviously, God wanted me to learn about my brain in order to learn how to regulate myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I have like visualization tools, where I've talked to you about this before, where I have like the squirt gun to get rid of popcorn thoughts, or like I have a barbed wire fence, and that if I cross that line, then I know that I crossed the line. Like that's the whole point.
Mm.
Um, and then I have another system where it's about um, taking emotions that I just legitimately don't need, or thought processes or something, or like visualizations that pop up in my head, and just throw them away because I don't need them.
Oh, that's maybe something that people don't realize when they get these
Mhm.
visual impacts from things that happened to
Mhm.
throw them away. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to also recognize that like sometimes. like our body stores a lot of emotion. Like, I mean, like legitimately physiologically, we store emotions. Like chiropractors, I heard from my mom, the chiropractor told her that like he would massage his wife and he would like buy her like thighs and her hips and he would massage there and she would instantly start crying because that is where the emotion was kept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we actually like physiologically hold an emotion. And if we hold on for too long or we let it build up inside of ourselves, we can have different effects that happen to us. So for me, that's my back gets into like, I mean, tons of knots. Like I can barely move. And then once I start releasing that emotion, which is also whole other processes in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
Yeah, well, the releasing part you could talk about a long time.
oh yeah,
I
there's,
want to join up with what you're saying with motivation,
hmm
because I was looking for insights about motivation,
hmm
and because I know that you are going to be starting training, James. That's why. And
yes,
I thought maybe what you were saying would help some others who maybe have got overload of stress or work and they still
especially
want to take the training, you
especially
know.
with all the responsibilities of like being a teacher and stuff like that.
Well,
Like,
you mean for
yeah.
you to embark on being a
Yeah.
teacher?
I mean like people in general, like I think people who are like teachers and they have like their responsibilities to how they handle kids and how they set
Yeah,
the boundaries with them. And like
yeah,
I know some friends that are teachers or I've watched some YouTubers that are also teachers or
yeah.
were teachers and like the school system is it's a hard beast. Like it's a like if you're like a public school teacher, it is very hard.
I used to
And
work in the system, I was a TA for a bit,
mhm.
and you get put with these difficult students, but people knew what I did as a side profession, and they'd ask me about things like hyperactivity and that sort of thing. And I remember telling them, look, you just have to use two dowels
Mhm.
and teach them reciprocal patterning, give them at
Mhm.
least 2 minutes. Oh, well, can't do that in the school because they'd hit each other with the sticks. I said, take them
Yeah.
outside. You
Yeah.
need someone to take them outside. Well, then they'd run away, and
You'd be having sword fights and
yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, I did demos, of what the kid was like before we took him outside, and then
Mhm.
what they were like when they came back from doing
Oh,
reciprocal patterning. It's totally different.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. I watched a video that was like that where like the guy said like if you go like if somebody has an addictive behavior, it is crazy in how the body physiologically change when you literally just step outside for sun or you go for a walk. Like it dramatically changes how our brains get shaped because we're
Well,
outside.
it's engaging the frontal lobes,
Hmm
and when you walk reciprocally,
Yeah.
as anything you do using the cerebellum, that's
hmm
exercise part of the brain,
hmm
and it from reciprocal patterning, it engages the frontal lobes. So when
hmm
they're down, because people have had a freeze, like you're
hmm
talking about,
Yeah.
or they've used media too long,
hmm
or something like had a poor diet with a lot of junk food,
hmm
the frontal lobes close down. They shut
Yeah.
down to
The
closer to flat.
Yeah, I've been actually learning about like the different systems in the brain, and there's so many. And
Yeah,
I think the frontal lobe, oh, I forget. Yeah, the front part of the lobe is for regulating emotions and feelings.
yeah,
And when like addictive behavior, like a person gets triggered and they're like addicted to something, what happens is the frontal lobe, as you say, like shuts down,
yeah,
and the blood actually leaves their brain.
yeah,
So it's hard for them to actually think. And so impulsivity is the problem from the limbic system.
yeah.
And so um, the point of like getting yourself being able to like to control your addictive behavior and like how you act and stuff like that is about re-regulating with thoughts and intentions to bring back the blood to your brain so then your body can regulate itself
Okay,
again.
so we need to get those thoughts and intentions going, but I just want to say that's why we use the stick walking to engage or synchronize the
Mm,
two frontal lobes, one on the left for goal making, what do I want to do? And then
mhm,
on the right side to visualize what you want to do. See yourself doing it.
mhm,
And actually even envision a goal, you
Hmm.
know? So, walking with the sticks gets those things going.
Mm. Visualization, I've known, like learned, because I'm super left-brained, is like legitimately crucial for the some people don't actually visualize at all. Although for lots of people, I think they do. And for those people who do, it is crucial to visualize yourself. Like we've talked about
Yeah.
the seeing yourself from the camera point of view, or like visualizing yourself actually doing that thing can
That's
actually
right. Yeah,
help.
that's right. That's right. And the
Yeah.
other thing, James, is giving yourself a chance to do it. I got to let it go because less than a minute here left. But actually, the actions you take will engage the brain. You have to do the
Mhm.
action when you don't even feel like it. We got to
Mhm.
go, but the opportunity is still there. So just bloody well do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you go and we'll go back to our editing job, eh? So,
Cool.
all right. So, boy, you can sure tell I'm a Canadian, eh?
A. Yeah.
Okay, great, great, James. I'll end the recording.